Coming up, learn how Nebraska legislation is affecting the transgender community.
Then, see how West Omaha Projects plans to revitalize the area.
Finally, Omaha schools showcase how esports is integrated in its competitive arenas.
All this and more on the Omaha News.
Good afternoon, I'm Zachary Hill.
And I'm Lindsay Tegg.
4 bills were introduced this session in the Nebraska unicameral that would directly affect transgender individuals. Reporter Madison Bonin sits down with Senator Dave Merman to learn his reasoning for bringing these bills to the legislature.
LB 371, 574, 575, and 810 are the newest pieces of legislation looking to change rights for trans Nebraskans. LB 574, introduced by Senator Kathleen Koth, would prohibit gender-altering procedures for people under the age of 19, including surgical procedures, hormone treatment, and puberty blockers. LB 575, also introduced by Koth, would restrict access to school bathrooms and locker rooms on the basis of biological sex, and would add similar restrictions to school sports teams. This would ban trans youth from entering certain spaces and participating on sports teams. LB 810, introduced by Senator Dave Merman, would allow doctors to opt out of giving care that conflicts with their ethical or religious beliefs. LB 371, also introduced by Merman, would ban anyone under the age of 19 from attending drag shows. Senator Merman says his main goal in introducing these bills is to protect the children of Nebraska. But when asked if he has ever been to a drag show, he says,
"Actually, to be honest with you, very limited experience because only social media."
Senator Merman believes that regardless of what side of the bill you're on, everyone just wants to keep kids safe. But with an already high rate of suicide within trans children, a lot of people are worried about what will happen if this bill passes.
Executive Director and founder of Omaha for Us LGBTQ Center, John Carl Denkovich, says that the passing of these bills would lay a scary foundation for future anti-LGBTQ bills.
You cannot legislate people out of existence. Transgender people, transgender kids will still be transgender kids, but likely we'll have less of them because they will not make it to adulthood.
According to the National Library of Medicine, 82% of transgender individuals have considered committing suicide, with the highest rates being among transgender youth. And that is the LGBTQ Center's biggest worry. The National Library of Medicine also completed a study that shows LGBTQ children who are accepted when they come out are 40% less likely to attempt suicide.
In regards to the train derailment that released plumes of chemical contaminants in East Palestine, Ohio, early last month, the National Transportation Safety Board Chair, Jennifer Hammondy, says the derailment was not the fault of the crew, but was entirely preventable. Reporter Jamie Harvey investigates how recent train derailments have reignited concern about changes made to the rail industry in the last decade.
Less than 10 years ago, the Union Pacific trains that roll through the tracks behind me were managed completely differently. In 2018, the company shifted to a cost-saving operations model that seeks to reduce the amount of time cars spend in rail yards by keeping trains in constant motion.
Precision Scheduled Railroading, or PSR, is an efficiency-based railroad operations system that saw mass adoption across the nation's largest railroads in the 2010s. Railroad companies say that PSR provides better service and that the practice has improved or had no effect on railroad safety. Industry outlets, safety inspectors, and unions have been voicing their concerns about the safety of PSR for years, claiming the system has led to longer, more difficult-to-control trains, overburdened employees, and pressure to skip safety inspections to maintain tight schedules. The nation's 7 largest freight railroads cut their workforce by about 28% between 2011 and 2021, and all 7 railroads say they've increased the length of their trains in recent years. Retired third-generation railroader and Railroad Workers United trustee Jeff Kurtz says that with the new policies, railroad companies are treating derailments as just a cost of doing business.
The railroads and the regulators are so disrespectful. And now it's not just to the employees, it's to the people that they're supposed to protect.
Studies on the effects of PSR on railroad safety have so far been inconclusive, but the Federal Railroad Administration currently has several initiatives underway monitoring the practice. Chemical contamination researcher and head of UNO's Environmental Studies program, John McCarty, says that in general,
obviously it is industry is a big proponent of we want the data. They're the ones that will bear the brunt of regulations that may not be needed.
But for Kurtz, not seeing regulatory change has been frustrating.
They don't know what they don't know, and so they just fake it. And, the rest of us suffer for it.
Secretary of Transportation Pete Buttigieg announced last week that the rail industry's pattern of resistance to safety regulations must change. The Omaha News reached out to Omaha-based Union Pacific Railroad for comment on the story, but did not receive a reply. Back to you, Zach and Lindsay.
After the break, West Omaha's newest construction efforts plan to reinvigorate 192nd and Dodge. Join us as we check in on the progress.
Coming up, learn how one organizational hub in the metro celebrates the culture and history of hip-hop.
IT is so broad that it's not just coding. It can be applied in so many different ways in different areas.
Technology impacts a lot of different things, a lot of different people. And if you can truly put yourself in their shoes and trying to solve that problem, just understanding that why is truly important.
UNO is one of those places where you can come and really get involved in whatever you want.
I ended up taking a bioinformatics class, and I ended up with an MD, PhD. I can do both the research and I can help people.
I chose the College of IS&T because it was my dream to become a data manager, and this college fits the best.
They're really the best people to be teaching the classes because they know and have worked in the field.
There's always a people factor, and getting people that are interested in your development is key to your success.
I want people to feel comfortable being part of the group. I remember when I was in high school, I was at my most comfortable when I was eating lunch with my friends in the band room. And it was my tribe, it was the people that I liked being around. So I try to facilitate an environment where those students have that tribe, that support system.
It might be bumper to bumper around UNMC in Saddle Creek as the roads are being repaired to make your driving experience safer. The Medical Center University is looking to expand westward with a Catalyst building and a new parking garage. UNMC Executive Director of Campus Development Planning, Brian Spencer, says he is focused right now on traffic safety and management.
We'll be improving the 46th and Farnham Street intersections. It'll get a four-way signalized intersection. We'll be increasing the number of medians in Saddle Creek to prevent the troublesome left-hand turns that have caused so many accidents over time.
You can expect to see the improvements for the pedestrian crossing and intersection to begin this summer. Avenue 1, the project that plans to revitalize West Omaha. A neighborhood of single-family homes, high-end retail, and job opportunities sets to transform 192nd and Dodge.
West Omaha braces for a 200-acre urban development 25 years in the making. Kurt Hofer, Avenue 1 founder and property owner, says the project will wake up the suburban economy.
What we thought was suburban Omaha should be able to have a vibrant community where people live there 24/7.
Hofer says consumer economic trends factored to meeting demand.
I mean, what are we facing right now, right? I mean, we've got escalation of interest rates. People are looking at inflation and where can I spend my dollars.
Behind me is the early construction of over 200 single-family homes expected to draw in local residents and out-of-state businesses. State economist Michael Lucci says that Nebraska is looking for more opportunities to make projects like this happen.
There are various ways to loosen up zoning and housing restrictions so that housing costs don't grow as quickly. We're also working on improving the state's tax environment, so lower taxes overall, and having a tax code that incentivizes investments coming into the state.
Once fully realized, the project is estimated to have a $1.3 billion impact to the city's growth. For the Omaha News, I'm Josue Garcia.
The development will sit in between Lawrence Youngman Lake and Methodist Women's Hospital.
This year, the culture of hip-hop turns 50 years old. Reporter Dee Warren is showing us how North Omaha's very own Culture House is celebrating the anniversary for this Black History Month.
This year for Black History Month, the Omaha Culture House, which is located right in the heart of North Omaha's historical business district, is celebrating the 50th anniversary of hip-hop. Whether it comes to breakdancing, DJing, rapping, or emceeing, graffiti, or the knowledge incorporated in the art itself, these 5 pillars gave rise to what we now know as hip-hop, and it all started in '73 in the Bronx, New York. The Culture House also offers a vintage selection of music as well as art that highlights Black history and Black historical icons. Local artist and owner of North Omaha Culture House, Marcy Yates, discusses the importance of the Culture House in maintaining not just the culture, but history of the art form.
But we do things like to celebrate it, for instance, this year being the 50th anniversary, so, we kind of step it up a little bit with our program and our events that's, really just based towards, hip-hop, but the education of it too, so people can kind of get that connection.
Not only is Culture House a place where we can honor and celebrate the culture of hip-hop, but it's also an organizational hub for education on social issues and activism. Culture House production staff Augie Kidd says hip-hop culture is an important component with his work.
Well, as an artist myself, it's not only been a venue, but also just like a working opportunity, working directly with and for Marcy here as a representative of the Culture House.
Augie Kidd says 50 years of hip-hop is pivotal in the United States due to it being a culmination of Black American contributions to art and history. For the Omaha News, I'm Dee Warren.
Come visit and get involved at Omaha Culture House anytime from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. After the break, we cover the Omaha track team's first 2 conference meets.
And still to come, pet care and potentially adopting your new best friend right here on the Omaha News.
I'm a veteran, wear my battle scars like a letterman's. I done crawled through the mud both speed, so I wouldn't underestimate me.
The University of Nebraska at Omaha's bookstore is home to more than books. The UNO bookstore accommodates all students' needs with phone and laptop repairs at the iFix UNO station or free residence hall delivery. The bookstore, located in the Milevale Student Center, is full of Maverick merchandise. Find sweatshirts for chilly Nebraska days or cozy UNO mugs for every coffee fix. Shop anytime at unobookstore.com.
I never thought I'd be standing in the clouds looking down on the ancient ruins of the Incan Empire. I never thought I'd live among the street artists in Valparaiso. I never thought I'd make friends that would last a lifetime.
Adventure's out there, and as Mavericks, it's up to us to find it.
Stop thinking, start doing. Visit educationabroad.unomaha.edu.
Hey, I'm Gaylor Damon, and I'll be giving you all the latest Omaha sports news for this week. While many winter sports are gearing up for their annual conference competitions, the Omaha track team is just getting started. Reporter Merritt Elgren takes us to the Dakota Dome, where the Mavericks tackled their first of 2 conference meets.
St. Leo University in St. Leo, Florida, announced last Tuesday that it would be discontinuing 3 men's and women's athletic programs. Among them was a fairly common scapegoat, track and field. Here in Omaha, the Mavericks' own track and field team traveled to Vermilion, South Dakota over the weekend to make a splash in the Summit League Conference. For non-revenue generating sports, performances at conference competitions carry some extra weight. Senior Maya Noctigal is no stranger to the elevated pressure to perform, this weekend being her 4th trip to the Summit League Indoor Championships.
I do think that a lot of us feel some extra pressure to compete well, just to kind of get our name out there more.
In a sport like track and field, name recognition can make or break you. That desire to become a household name in the Summit League Conference is what gives the Mavericks motivation to throw farther, jump higher, and run just a little bit faster. A second time around the conference roster, sophomore Macy Persinger has also realized the added pressure.
For the conference meet, I feel a little bit of added pressure because I know obviously if I do well or as a team we do well, we're going to get a lot more recognition.
The recognition that comes with the Maverick name is, after all, part of the experience that students pay for. An estimated 10% of Omaha's athletic revenue is paid for by student fees, according to a 2020 NBC News report. For athletes, it can take a toll knowing that they quite literally represent their entire body of fellow students. But both Nautical and Persinger agree that, above all else, they are lucky to have the opportunity to chase their passions. For the Omaha News, I'm Merritt Elgren.
The Mavericks placed 6th among their conference foes in Vermillion this past weekend. You can catch them on the outdoor track starting in April, where they will continue trying to climb the ranks. The Omaha women's basketball team defeated the Denver Pioneers this past Saturday. It was senior day at Baxter Arena as the Mavericks secured the number 6 seed and a first-round bye in the upcoming Summit League tournament. I was courtside at Baxter Arena and have a recap of the game. This was moments after the game ended, and an issue with the scoreboard had Omaha with 82 points. The real result was 83-73. The game was intense and very contested, with the lead changing 16 times. Omaha had 13 turnovers in the first half and allowed 6 three-pointers from Denver's offense. Omaha head coach Kerry Banks says this was a point of emphasis during halftime, and the team was able to correct it.
We sped ourselves up a couple times where we didn't need to, so I thought we did a better job of managing the pace, and even in the fourth quarter it kind of got away from us a little bit. I thought after a timeout we were able to get composed and just get back to executing the way we wanted to.
Omaha got 10 points ahead in the third quarter and maintained that lead, scoring 26 points in the fourth quarter, 19 of which were from a free throw line. The Mavericks were led by Alina Pilacuda, who scored 18 points and had 11 rebounds. Pilacuda also had the honor of playing as a Maverick in front of her parents for the first time on her last college home game.
I mean, it still doesn't feel real. Like, it's crazy that I have someone waiting for me over there now. So it's been a fun couple of days.
For senior day, the Mavericks also honored Sam Mitchell, Aaliyah Stanley, and Akili Felici. Omaha will face North Dakota on Sunday, March 5th at 3 p.m. at Danny Sanford Premier Center in Sioux Falls, South Dakota for a spot in the Summit League Tournament semifinals. Omaha baseball had their home opener last night, looking to win their second straight game as they took on the Kansas State Wildcats. K-State got the offense going on early, putting up 6 runs in the first 5 innings, but it was in the 8th inning when the Mavericks put up 4 innings, giving their first lead of the day, 6-5. Tension was high in the top of the 9th when Rand Sander came on to the game to close it out. After retiring the first 2 batters and giving up a single, a pop fly to the center field ended the game, giving Sanders the first save of his Division I career and the Mavericks their second straight victory. They will travel to Provo, Utah over the weekend to take on BYU Cougars. That's all for sports this week. We'll have more sports news from around the Omaha Metro for you next week. After the break, this week's final headlines.
The media landscape is vastly different from the past. Conglomeration and consolidation have changed the skill sets required to succeed. Journalists must not only know how to conduct research, interview, and write stories, but they also have to know how to shoot and edit the stories they tell. Likewise, creative media professionals must know how to interview, research, and write the stories they shoot and edit. In the School of Communication, we require students to gain experience and proficiencies employers are seeking. The 2 hardest mediated genres to produce are live sports and newscasts. Thus, once our students are taught the basics, they are given opportunities to improve the abilities at these genres. Capstones 1 and 2 feature the culmination of skill sets. Once students produce the Omaha News, they can use it in their demo reel to show their skills. From here, students can go anywhere.
The Nebraska Humane Society reached max capacity for dogs last week. Since then, several dogs have been adopted. Vice President of Public Relations and Marketing for the Nebraska Humane Society, Pam Weiss, says the first thing to do when adopting a dog is to give them time to settle in. NHS calls this the rule of thirds: 3 days, 3 weeks, and 3 months.
3 days just to give them a chance to kind of go, oh, okay, here I am in this place. 3 weeks to kind of get to know you, to maybe come out from under the bed, to get to feel a little bit more comfortable. Then after 3 months, hopefully they feel like, yeah, this is where I'm staying and this will be a good thing.
Pam says each dog has its own personality despite their breed, meaning some dogs can be timid even if the breed is known to be very social. She says it's important to keep this in mind when bringing a furry friend home.
According to a study conducted by Highland Spring Clinic, spending time with loved ones improves your overall quality of life by reducing stress and anxiety. I take us to an Omaha business owner who wants to give members of the community a chance to experience this, all while sharing a lifelong passion. From Pinball and Space Invaders to Donkey Kong and Pac-Man, Arcade 33 in Omaha is a gaming establishment people can rent out by the hour with the intent to enjoy quality time together. Patrick Garber is the owner of the arcade and a vintage game enthusiast. He says running this business has always been his career goal.
My first professional job, which was at a web hosting company in Bellevue. When I was being interviewed, my future boss asked me a really important question, and that was, if you could have your dream job, what would it be? And I looked right at him and I said, I would run an arcade.
Doors to the arcade opened in 2019. Garber took the business in the private rental direction to accommodate groups while still following social distance guidelines during the pandemic. Garber says there's plenty of free games for all the members of your family to enjoy. Brock Guerrero is an arcade and pinball fanatic. He says it's nice to have a local place to hang out with his friends while having the leisure to play games for free.
So anytime I can find a place to play arcade games, whether that be pinball or Pac-Man or Donkey Kong, anything like that, I'm going to take advantage of it.
There are over 20 different gaming machines for guests to play at Arcade 33. Garber says he enjoys sharing his devotion with everyone that walks through the arcade doors. Garber has more vintage games and pinball machines that he is in the process of fixing up. He hopes to add them to the arcade.
The Nebraska Schools Esports Association has grown from 13 to 70 teams in just 3 years. I take us inside the practice of a high school team with 3 state championships already under their belt. Competitive video gaming teams, or esports teams, are quickly spawning across the map, with fall of 2020 seeing OPS introducing the competition to all 9 of their high schools. Westside esports player Brandon Lau says esports is giving students who aren't involved in traditional sports the opportunity to be part of a team.
I think my favorite part about being on the team is being able to just hang around with a crew of people that I know personally and that I'm friends with and have a similar passion as me.
Esports has a lower barrier of entry, which creates an avenue for students with disabilities, prohibiting them from participating in other sports. Westside's esports head coach Chase Tonkinson says competitive gaming also has a place for students who aren't as on the grind as the others, so to speak. They even have their own live streamer. Oh, come on!
They can get us to the broadcasting side or the journalism side, so we kind of sell it that way. We're here, we're learning skills, we're learning how to communicate, we're learning these online social media platforms.
Lau adds that he thinks it's cool how video games have done a speed run from being known as a nerdy pastime to a commonplace in the after-school setting.
You can convince the school administration that, yes, building this lab is a good idea and is going to benefit our students a lot. And it's great to see that happen across the nation.
According to Newzoo, esports is forecasted to hit 640 million viewers by 2025, which is a far cry from the 435 million in 2020. Lau says the reception from students outside of his party has never been negative, with most just wanting to know more about this growing sport.
That's all for today. Join us again next week for more news and entertainment in the Heartland.
Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter at UNO, the Omaha News, or find our website for even more news and stories at unomahanews.com.
From all of us here at UNO Television, thanks for watching.
Welcome to the Omaha News. We are Omaha.
The complex was condemned by the city in January for numerous safety reasons.
We are truth tellers and award winners.
They process and recycle approximately 100,000 tons of material.
We are a community of strength and a team of big dreams. We are the Omaha News, where the people are the story.
It is the longest-running Omaha-based statewide television program on the air today. Hi everyone, I'm Kathy Wyatt, producer and host of Consider This. Now in our 25th season, we wish to acknowledge those who have made this educational journey possible. Our guests, underwriters, student crews, the Knowledge Network, the University of Nebraska at Omaha, and of course, viewers just like you. Thank you for watching.
3,000 student athletes from 10 institutions, competing in 19 sports for national prominence, striving for excellence in academics and athletics, seeking to become champions. Nearly 100,000 students and more than 800,000 alumni celebrate Summit League student athletes and their rise to reach the summit. The Summit League, where tomorrow's leaders strive to reach the summit today.
There's a unique educational experience right here in Omaha. With access to top-rated programs, in-demand degrees, and a worldwide community of graduates, UNO prepares students for life, wherever it may lead. From Omaha to Italy to Uganda to Japan, Mavericks are working in communities around the globe. So where will a degree from UNO take you? UNO, access to exceptional, access to the world. Learn more at unomaha.edu.